And I don't know what the phrase would be, but I mean, we do have people that have signed leases in the county. And I wonder if it's a better question, I don't know if this is too pointed, but to say, you know, if drilling happens in the county, would you be interested in the county government seeking further protections for the specific nature of our county or something like that? Because I think it's that same side thing. I feel like I don't know, but if drilling happens here, we want to have the best standards possible. And I don't think we stand to lose anything. The value of the gas, whatever. I mean, there are earthquakes. My parents felt them in the northern panhandle. I mean, 5 wells were shut down. I read it in the news as well. There were 11 earthquakes up in the northern panhandle. The industry is new in the way that it's operating with this particular technology. And I don't see any problem with us as a community, whether we want to have drilling or not have drilling, to say it's not a gas well, it's a gas field. It's something that affects everybody, even if it's an individual property rights decision. And so if it's going to affect everybody anyway, can the question be, if drilling happens, do we want to do as much research, take as much action as we can to make sure that our water is not destroyed and that our trout streams are not destroyed and that we continue to experience the quality of life that we continue to experience. Sorry, that was kind of long-winded. But it's very important to me.
I wrote your question down in the sense of, let me see if I got this right. If drilling happens, would you favor further protection at the county level? Is that correct?
Yes.
High level of drilling?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's go back to this side of the room. Buster, I got your name down here. I'll be right down a couple more names. Go ahead, Buster.
Going back to Cheryl right there, and I can't imagine taking that much water to do that. I pump a lot of water out of the streams and stuff. Can't imagine using that much water to frack a well.
Well, I can answer a little bit of something on that. I just did the math on that. They say that the frack of wells between 3 and 6 million gallons. The Greenbrier River today is at 750 cubic foot a second. That comes out to 337,500 gallon a minute. So 10 to 20 minutes, enough water passed under the bridge to frack a well. So you have to be careful with some of these extreme things people tell you. You can't believe something.
This is from an experienced driller that has been drilling for over 30 years.
Who actually wants to do this?
Who actually wants to come here and frack.
Let's please keep to the format for one person at a time. Thank you, Scott, for that calculation. Just summarize that. 10 to 20 minutes of Greenbrier River flow this time of year.
Of course, it goes up a little bit.
Is enough to fracture on the average 1 well.
How about in the summer?
Buster, the question is yours.
The other thing is, I don't think anybody is wanting to harm anybody's water or anybody's land. I don't see what the issue is here of trying to force this thing on the ballot. And if you do put it on the ballot, it comes up for a vote, and you get it to where they say they don't want no drilling here, then who's going to pay these landowners? Say Mr. Becker's here, who's going to pay him for his gas if he wants to drill that gas? It's going to go to the Supreme Court, and they're going to drill it anyway.
Well, that's supposition that could play out that way, but first, it would be information coming to the commission.
You've got DEP regulating this stuff, and as it goes further on, it's going to get more stringent anyway. And it's like the meeting I got before. I don't see these trucks lined up to the county line ready to get in here yet. I still don't understand what all this big push is about.
Thank you, Buster. That's a good question. I think for my part, it's about insurance. I can't say the drilling's coming. I can't say that it's not. We know that leases have been signed and Marcellus is here in some way or another.
It's like I think last meeting, we don't have the infrastructure here to get this stuff out because they drill.
They don't have the infrastructure in Nicholas County yet either, but a well is flaring there right now. So, but I digress. I see it as a way of giving feedback to the county commission as to whether voters want us to pursue sort of an insurance, if you will. We all have insurance on various things. We have insurance on our farming equipment, we have insurance on our vehicles, we have insurance on our homes. I don't think it's wise for us as a commission to just say that there's absolutely no risk, therefore we don't need to try to insure ourselves in any way at all. That wouldn't be wise, that wouldn't be good governance. But the degree to which we insure ourselves is, do we continue to work with the DEP? Yes, that's for sure. But Buster, I don't mean to overstate this, I'm certainly not trying to counter anything you said, but to me the value is that we get more feedback from the voting community as to what they would like to see us do in terms of direction. And it may be that if they say they don't want drilling, that if you all say you don't want drilling, that there's nothing we may be able to do.
How long do we go keep coming to these meetings? Just things need to be stopped one way or the other, and we got things we got to do.
Well, I think Mr. Walker was pointing out we're going to have some people come and continue to educate us on both sides of the drilling issue. Certainly, it's big an opportunity financially and as risky an endeavor as this can be environmentally. It's something we're going to have to continue to be responsible.
It's not been one confirmed thing I heard on the news the other day about Marcellus drilling interrupting people's water. On a radio station the other day. Don't know if that's true or not. It could be the same information about water.
Thank you, Buster. Let me come back over here. Sue, you had your hand next.
It seems to me that if the commission is really interested in soliciting opinion from the county, that a more scientific way to do that, rather than a ballot initiative, would be to design a survey, a public opinion survey. That would allow you to first of all, you wouldn't have to choose one very specific question, finally owned question that you hope would answer, all of these nuances about people's opinions on fracking. And it would also, by collecting some other demographic data, basic demographic data, along with the survey questions, it would allow you to analyze the results of that survey that in a way that would provide you with more information about how people really feel about it.
Okay. Thank you, Sue. I want to ask you a question about that. One thing that's attractive about a ballot to me is that if it's an exciting election anyway, I suppose we have to have that, you can get a lot of turnout, a lot of voter turnout. And it's also cheap. We can just put something on the ballot and get some feedback on that. So that's the attractive part of that. Another thing about putting something on the ballot is that it's a trustworthy process. No one really believes that ballots in Pocahontas County are being tampered with. Well, maybe I shouldn't say it. Maybe there are people who do believe ballots are being tampered with. It's general. I'll just try this. It's generally agreed upon that the ballot process is fair. But so for a survey, I do like the idea of doing a survey. I think to do a survey sponsored by the county commission, for example, would be more costly. But then again, as you said, there's a potential to put more questions or fine-tune the kinds of information you want to get back. For the survey process too, it may be viewed as less trustworthy. Who is compiling the results of the survey, et cetera. So, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about those?
Well, it's important to go with a reputable survey organization, obviously, who would, certify the results of the survey, that they were unbiased and so forth. And in fact, I think that you can get a more representative result from using a survey than you possibly can from an election.
Okay.
Because you can't control you have no way of measuring non-response to your ballot initiative.
Okay.
Whereas in a survey, you do have ways to measure non-response and understand the implications of non-response in the survey.
What would be an example of a classification of people who would not respond to the ballot? Non-registered people?
What if there was a weather catastrophe? The day of the election, and that particularly affected the older population. They couldn't get out to vote,
Okay.
for instance. If you did a survey, first of all, you could specifically target certain segments of the population, make sure that they were represented in your survey results. And also, you could tell who wasn't represented and be able to understand what the implications of that were.
It's a good thing. Thank you. Let's go back to this side of the room. Laura, go ahead.
One thing that I've been tossing around a lot since this ballot issue was brought up, kind of bothered me to a point, is we got somewhere in the neighborhood of a few over 8,000 people in our county. There's only a few over 4,000 of us registered. So does that mean the 4,000 people that's not registered has absolutely no say as to what we're going to do with their land?
They can register.
And, you know, if we put it on the ballot, at that point, we are rejecting them from having any input whatsoever on their property, their land, and their rights.
As well as the people who own property but are not residents here. So it really would be a skewed sample, even if you got 100% participation, which is what
Yeah, you're going to be lucky to get 50% probably.
Yeah. It makes me think that a ballot question isn't or can't be complete. That if we wish to get more feedback from the voters, then we probably should consider any and all options to get that feedback. And so certainly a ballot is just one possibility of getting some of that feedback. I think surveys definitely within the realm of possibility. I'm going to write you down, but the next person I have on this side is Laurie.
Okay, I'd like to speak to the fantasy that we're all going to get together on this and agree that we should do something about our water. I want to get on with the fight. There are definite, strong ideological interests bumping up against each other hard in this. And we're talking about the Z word, zoning. I would echo Bryn's comment that if you just ask a general question about should we do something about fracking, blah, 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 everybody's going to retreat to their ideological position. We're going to have the usual vote that we have about zoning, and we know what the outcome of that is going to be. But zoning, let's remember that if a gas field opens up, de facto, you have opened up an industrial zone. Z-O-N-E, the word zone, zoning is there. It may not have been done by the government. It may have been done by the Chinese government, which, by the way, is investing heavily in American gas companies. So not only are we a colony of Wall Street and Pittsburgh, we will now be a colony of China. So I say, if you want to have something on the ballot, I think that's a good place to have a fight. And the people that aren't registered, let them damn well register. That's what I say about them. If they're not interested enough to register, the hell with them. Okay, so let's put this on the ballot. Let's think what kind of control, because we're not going to stop the drillers coming in if they want to come in. They got the money, they got the contracts, they got everything. But there are such things as zoning ordinances, which many counties have, which we could have, but not the sort of C1, R4 type of zoning. That's completely irrelevant to this question and to this county. But there are zoning controls that we could think of, that we could legally pass, that would limit the damage, and there would be a hell of a lot of damage done. If you believe there's going to be no damage, then you believe the cigarette companies when they said cigarettes, there's no proof that cigarettes cause cancer. Right. So let's put on the ballot the kinds of controls that we would think about, zoning controls that we would think about, and then we can have a campaign and we can have a fight. And let's get it on. And what I say to the people who say, we don't want to fight about that because we might lose, I say, when the basketball team goes to play a team they know is stronger, they play anyway, even if they know they're going to lose. And I say, let's play anyway, win or lose, and let's have a campaign, and let's have a fight.
Thank you, Lauren.
I want to say one thing on that. When you said to people it's not registered, to forget about it.